As you can see, we're here on the red carpet with none other than Peacock for FYC season, of course, for Mrs. Davis. Stay with us because we're going behind the scenes, talking with leading cast members, executive producers, directors, and many more. Thank you so much. So you know I'm absolutely sad, and I have to ask, how are you doing with losing your horse?
Well, he comes back at the end. But yeah, I was so sad to lose him in the pilot, and I kept thinking of my dog, all my departed dogs throughout my childhood. So that was it tugged on my heartstrings for sure.
So what was uniquely special about being a part of this 8-part series?
Yeah, it really felt like everybody's passion project in every department, from director to props to sound to every single actor, and it just felt like one of those once-in-a-lifetime things where every day just felt like such a gift, and it was so joyful, and we were having the best time together. Yeah.
So I'm interested to hear your personal stance as it relates to AI. Of course, we have to tap into it, right? Like, what are your thoughts around AI and where we are as a society today, just in general?
Yeah. I mean, AI, it makes me nervous. It scares me. It wasn't as much, even when we were filming 6 months ago, it wasn't as much a part of our daily headlines and dinner table conversations as it is now. And I have a 2.5-year-old, and as a mom, I think about the parts of my life that shaped me were parts where I had to find the answer on my own. I didn't have something that gave me, my wish fulfillment robot puppy answer in my pocket. And I think that's what makes us human. And I don't think we should be sidestepping that part of humanity. If it can, cure disease and fix global warming, great. But we shouldn't also opt out of risk and vulnerability. That's what makes us people.
Yes. So talk to me about your character role, Simone, because you played a nun,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So obviously there was a lot of religion intermixed with your role, without a question or a doubt. Did you find this role to be challenging or more intriguing and exciting?
I loved playing Simone. She's my favorite character I've ever played. I think I had, while I myself am not religious, I talked to many nuns in preparation to play her, and, their relationship with God and Jesus is very personal to them, and it's not like some, floaty poem thing to them. It's a real person. So I tried to play my scenes with Andy McQueen just as a real relationship instead of some kind of floaty concept. Andy McQueen made it very easy to be in love with him.
And before I let you go, are you currently working on any other projects that you can share with us today? Any secrets that you can share with me?
Sure. I'm filming this show called American Primeval. It's going to be on Netflix. It takes place in 1857, and I've been in a corset and petticoat for 6 months, and apparently it tells your core muscles they can stop working. So now wearing heels, I'm like, oh, my back. Yeah.
Well, we would certainly be looking for you and keeping our fingers crossed for an Emmy nomination and an Emmy Award win. It's certainly well deserved. Congratulations on everything, Betty.
Much. Thank you. Thanks.
You look great.
Oh, Andy, and you
that
look
purple is amazing.
Listen, and match the color in your amazing cardigan.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hey, Andy, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. So you play the character of Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to jump right in because I'm interested to hear your personal stance as it relates to AI and how this series intermixes that with humanity.
I think it just asks the question of how much we depend on technology versus how much we put in our faith, or how much faith we put in technology. I think in today's time, like, how much time are we looking at our phone, how much time are we putting towards what we believe in, what we love. And I think at the end of the day, this story and this show it asks all the right questions, but it doesn't put anything upon you. It just asks you to think about it in no negative way, in no positive way, just in a way that it presents it to you that you can just have a thought, and I think that's a cool thing about what the show does.
And talk to me about, for those individuals who have yet to check out this 8-part series, how did you go about approaching your role as Jay?
With great care, and also honoring the writing that was on the page. Also being true to the nature of this is an historical character, an historical figure, and I think it was very important to, be as diligent and as possible. And I think the most important thing about all of this stuff is that you have to honor the writing and what's on the page, and so approaching it in that way just gave me the right sort of framework to go from.
And without a doubt, you did such an amazing job. But let's pivot back to the very beginning. When you first came across the script and the plot line of this series, listen, this is an honest moment. What were the initial thoughts that crossed your mind? And what made you say yes to taking on this opportunity?
First thought, fear. I was overwhelmed, but also at the same time I was ready for, the opportunity. And also I knew that I was going to approach it as honestly and as thoughtfully as I could. And so there was fear there, and there was that feeling of being like, oh, can I do this thing? But at the end of the day, with anything that we do, as long as we put all the work in and approach it honestly, I think we can get something good out of that.
And of course, we're here for FYC season. We're embarking upon Emmy nominations, right? And then in following months, the Emmy Awards. What are your thoughts about this particular series willing in a nomination and or win? Are you optimistic?
Absolutely. This is the best experience I've had in my entire life. So all I could ever think are great things for it. This is my first time doing any of this kind of stuff. So it's, at the end of the day, like I say, I had the best experience ever. And I hope, Tara created a great show. Tara Hernandez created a great show along with Damon Lindelof, and I think that everybody along for the ride, the writers, the actors, the crew, and the rest of the cast, that's all you could hope for. Just as long as you have a great experience doing something, you just hope for the best for it.
And before I let you go, so unfortunately there will not be a season 2. Were you sad? Did you cry once you learned that there wouldn't be another season? Or do you feel like the series, the team, the executive producers, directors did its due diligence as far as successfully carrying out season 1?
You know what? I think they did. I think they did a great job at having a beginning, middle, and an end, and I think that they wrapped it up at the end of it with all the questions that you had. They were answered, and perhaps there were some more that you may have asked, but at the same time, for me personally, it being the best experience of my life and having the people that are on board for this project, I only know that more great things come from that, and a speeding car down the road.
Yes. Yeah. Well, listen, it was such a pleasure chatting with you today. Congratulations on everything, and I will keep my eyes open to see you on the big screen again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Congratulations on everything. Let's certainly start there.
Thank you so much.
I am so interested to hear your stance on this project and saying yes. This project was a perfect combination of religion, right? Comedy, AI. Did you find taking on this opportunity challenging or effortlessly easy?
What a great question. Taking on this project was both challenging and effortlessly easy. It was challenging for all of the themes and everything we were dealing with, all of the plot, like the story points and set pieces, like dropping into tunnels and emerging and Pope doppelgangers, right? And the really deep the themes that we were dealing with, but it really was so easy because it just all clicked. Like, I've never seen such a complicated story told so effortlessly in a way. Like, it's just, and so it was a joy. So yeah, I couldn't say no.
Let's talk about your approach and your commitment, right? And how invested you were to serving as an executive, producer and director on this role, because I also believe that you were the director behind 3 of the episodes. What approach did you take with these particular episodes that you directed?
Well, following up from Owen Harris, who was the director for the pilot and 3 other episodes, I just knew that my job was to take my 3 episodes and just treat them like a mama. Like I was their mama. Like I just had to. They were so big and so ambitious that the total complete ownership was something that I knew that I was hired for, and so I raised them like my little babies.
And you did an excellent job. If you can give me 2 to 3 reasons why this 8-part series should be considered for an Emmy nomination, and not only a nomination, but Emmy Awards, what would be the 2 to 3 reasons?
2 to 3 reasons why?
You can give me more.
Okay. reasons I think the show should be considered for an Emmy. It is the most original show out there. It is just so the content is original. Everything about it is wildly original, and I think that's really special in these times. I think that it is a show that is optimistic, and again, that's so unique and wonderful. And I think everybody delivered at such a high level from a craft perspective. Like, I'm so in awe of our cast: Betty Gilpin, Jake McDorman, Elizabeth Marvel. Like, come on, they're amazing. Everyone, the camera operators. It was just a marvel to watch it come together, and I'm really proud of it. And I think it deserves really beautiful recognition.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, what would you say made this particular project for you the most unique in comparison to others that you've worked on over the duration of your career?
Look, the first thing that makes it unique, which is like more of a surface answer, is just all of the wonderful set pieces that I got to be part of creating. A 40-foot sword, right? That was the most wonderful part. But what I deeply loved was my relationship with the cast and with our showrunner Tara Hernandez and Damon Lindelof, the co-creator. It's those creative collaborations that are my deepest joy, and I think that they made the show special on the screen as well. That those working with those people made me a better director, and that's all I can ask for.
Any special projects that you're currently working on right now that we should be on the lookout for that you can share with us today?
No special projects. I needed a break after this. I went straight from Rise of the Pink Ladies, which is also doing its thing. Yeah, so I went straight from Rise of the Pink Ladies onto Mrs. Davis, and then I just had a pilot get picked up, which is, the pilots, the thing you can keep an eye out for is my show that got picked up on ABC. It's called High Potential, and it stars Caitlin Olsen, and that'll come together at the end of the year.
All right, congratulations on that, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next red carpet. All right, so you have to talk to me about this series. When you initially came across this script, what were your initial thoughts about saying yes to this opportunity? I have to know.
Yeah, I think when I first read it, I thought, what on earth have I just read? But at the same time, thought it's just a wonderful, joyful, crazy, balmy story that had such an original tone of voice and was dealing with subjects that were really important but in a really refreshing, original way. So I had this sort of reaction to it, and at the time it was at the end of the pandemic, and it just felt like the right thing to make. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, out of the 8 episodes, you specifically directed 4 of the 8.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little about your approach with, obviously we don't have enough time to go into each of the episodes that you directed, but just tell me a little bit about your approach with taking on these particular episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of it was about it. It's a show that pivots a lot and genre surfs, and it's doing a lot in terms of storytelling. And so it was trying to find a visual language that could tie them all together, that could be consistent, because I think that each episode almost feels like a pilot as you go on the quest for the Holy Grail. And it was about coming up with a language that we could all latch onto, and a tonality that we could then carry through the series, so the audience felt like the storytellers had a firm grip of the rudder, so they felt like they could go on this crazy ride and they were going to get to a satisfying conclusion. Yeah.
So talk to me about Emmy season, because we're literally weeks away from the Emmy nominations and months away from the Emmys. Why is it that this particular 8-part series deserves an Emmy nomination?
I just think it's wonderfully original. It's incredibly brave storytelling. It's for me, it was just has a very refreshing tone of voice and a wonderful piece of storytelling. And I just think that, certainly having worked on it, it felt like a real labour of love and a passion project for everyone that was on it. And I just think that, it's to break through, you have to come up with interesting, creative, original storytelling, and it does that in sort of spades, so it's great. Yeah.
And for those individuals who have yet to tap into the series, I couldn't imagine who in the world has not seen it on Peacock yet. What particular audience would you say will likely gravitate more towards this series? because you guys tap into AI, artificial intelligence, religion. I mean, for Christ's sake, Simone was a nun, right? Romantic relationships and so much more. What audience do you feel would gravitate more towards this series?
Well, I think one of the subjects that is at its core is AI, and I think it's a big conversation piece at the moment. I think we should all be interested in what's happening around us with regards to artificial intelligence, but also it just deals with the sort of bigger themes of faith and where we are willing to put our faith, what we're putting our faith into, unquestioning, and what we're getting back from it. And 100 odd years ago it was religion, then science, it's now technology, and we're human beings and we need to sort of understand what it is, what transaction is taking place. So I think that it's a story that deals with all of those things but does so with real sort of fun and joy at the end.
Well, it was such a pleasure chatting with you today. Congratulations on everything, and thank you so much.
Hi.
Jake, listen.
Okay.
Now I'm very upset with you. Why am I upset with you? Now this is
God,
in regards to the
so
series.
What could it be? I have
Jake,
stains on my shirt.
No.
I'm on a red carpet with stains on
Jake, you have to tell me, what were you thinking when you pressed that button on that dynamite and you killed Simone's horse?
Oh shit! I know, right? I think I was just as surprised as she was that happened. Yeah, it was supposed to be fucking Play-Doh. It was supposed to be fake, and then the horse was gone. Have you seen the whole show?
Of course.
Okay. Well, you know, it comes back. It comes back.
Yes. Okay. So tell me about this mustache of yours. Not the one that you have right now,
I will
right?
tell you about this.
Because something is telling me there was a storyline behind this mustache. Give me all the deets. Spill the beans.
It worked backwards into the show. We were trying to figure out what Wiley should look like. He has his past in the rodeo and all this stuff. And does he have like a scruffy beard? Does he have just a little stubble? Does he have a mustache? What kind of mustache? We kind of went through all these different versions. At one point, we landed on like Nicolas Cage from Raising Arizona. And then finally, I was so sick of going back and forth with this. I don't know if you can see him over there. Did you talk to him a second ago, right? Owen. You see how he has like a salt and pepper beard, but all the peppers right here? I just told our makeup artist, Lana, I was like, make it like Owen's. Just where his is like dark, make mine like that. And it stuck. And so then they started writing all the jokes about the mustache in the show after that. But yeah, I ripped it off our director.
I love it. You heard it. I had to ask him about that mustache. So you have to tell me about your character, right?
Yeah.
What made you say yes to taking on this project? And how has this project differed from, because I believe that you've been a part of 39 plus projects and you just wrapped one project. I think it's in post-production if I'm not mistaken. But tell me the uniqueness around this particular project and the character role that you took on throughout this series.
It was unlike anything I think any of us had ever read. It was an easy yes. I mean, I was already kind of a yes before I even read the script, and then reading the script was just a bigger, louder yes. I was amazed and suspicious of how they would put it on film, because it really is just such a crazy idea, such a crazy world. Unlike anything I had ever seen before, that the idea that you could actually take it from script form and get it on film seemed impossible, but I was so down to give it a shot. I mean, it's fun, right? It's like every genre wrapped into one. Like, it keeps switching on you from sci-fi to like, yeah, it's really, really crazy. So it was like that on the page. I had worked with Damon on Watchmen. I was just chomping at the bit to work with him again. And this was just a great opportunity.
So obviously this series touches on religion, right? AI, which is the big talk around the town and the world right now, right? Romantic love relationships, especially with, you and Simone being exes, right? But how do you feel about where we are today and how basically the world can relate to this series and all of the different topics that are like covered throughout each episode?
Yeah, it's really surreal to be on a show that is when it premiered, all of a sudden all these news headlines about ChatGPT just broke. I can't imagine what it would have been like shooting the show with ChatGPT being in the news like it is after the show. I mean, the implications of where AI could go are like really exciting, but also, really scary. I think the scary side of things makes the Mrs. Davis version of it look pretty fucking fun.
I would agree.
So, as far as religion and faith with technology, which our show is kind of all about, it's an interesting question where faith finds its place in someone's life, where you have, something in your hand that can ask or that can answer any question that you might have. What do you do with faith when you have something there that will answer all your prayers? It's kind of crazy. So yeah.
It's insane. And before I let you go, why does Mrs. Davis deserve an Emmy nomination, and not only an Emmy nomination but an Emmy award? Listen, Jake, this is a serious question.
Because we have Betty Gilpin, and Betty Gilpin's the best.
Yes, and you are as well. Such a pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.